Hello everyone, my name is Loko and welcome to a new episode of StarCraft II Study. Today, we are going to be talking about something that is pretty awesome. We are going to be talking about a Zerg vs Protoss build order for Heart of the Swarm in StarCraft II. Now, this is the build order that most professional gamers are using, and if you're like an old school StarCraft II player, you actually played in Wings of Liberty, you probably recognize the build already because it's pretty much the same thing as we did in Wings of Liberty. With a few minor adjustments, but it's still pretty much the same thing. So without further ado, let's go straight into the game. One thing to note, however, in this video, I'm only really going to be talking about the actual build order. I'm not going to be talking about scouting, overlord positioning, none of that. Just the build order and how you can transition safely into the mid game. The only thing that you will need to realize is that your opponent is going for an early Nexus. It doesn't matter if it's a Forge Fast Expand or a Nexus First or any of that. The only recommendation that I have when doing this build order is that your opponent is going for an actual quick second base. So without further ado, let's go in the actual game. So here we are in the actual game. I'm going to be playing this one live as I speak, so bear with me. I'm going to be opening up this game completely standard with an Overlord at 9 supply. So next up, I drone up until 14 supply and I start a spawning pool as soon as I hit 200 minerals. So here we go, I drone up until 15 supply and then I send a drone to the low ground as soon as I hit 200 minerals and I will create a hatchery at 15 supply. Now I wait a little bit and I actually make an Overlord straight at 14 supply. When my spawning pool finishes, I need to wait a little tiny while before I can start my queen. So there we go, queen going down. Now I'm going to be making one set of Zerglings and then I go back to making drones. When my set of Zerglings spawn, I actually stop droning for a little while and I send a drone after my Zerglings. So this drone will be used to actually make a third base. Also going to be queuing up my second queen right at this moment, and when my first queen spawns, I'm going to inject with it and I'm going to walk it to the natural. Meanwhile, my drone is arriving at the third base and I'm going to wait until I hit 300 minerals and, of course, I will be making a hatchery with this one. This point I'm max saturated in my natural or in my main base and I'm going to be rallying everything to my natural base and I'm just going to be droning. At 24 or 23-ish supply, I'm going to be starting another Overlord. Just going to make sure that I hit all my queen injects and I'm just going to be droning up. At 31 supply, I make another Overlord. This queen that was originally created in the main base is actually walking to the natural. He ejected there once. And now I'm going to lay down a creep tumor and walk it to the third base while starting another queen in my natural. At the 5 minute and 50 second or the 6 minute mark, I'm going to be starting double gas geysers in my natural. As soon as the gas geysers finish, I'm going to be putting drones in it right away and I'm going to be starting a Roach warren as well. As soon as I hit my first 100 gas, I'm going to be starting a Lair. And all the while, the only thing that I'm really creating is drones. Also, when I start my Lair, I start an evolution chamber. With my second 100 gas, I'm going to be starting Zergling Speed. And as soon as I hit max saturation in my third base, I'm going to be starting double gas right there as well. And also at this point, since I'm max saturated, I'm going to be starting a macro hatchery. Going to be starting my missile attack upgrade as soon as I can. And when my gas is finished in my third, I'm going to be putting drones in those right away. At this point, I can start creating a lot of Overlords and wait for my Lair to finish up. I'm also going to be starting Roach Speed as soon as I possibly can. At this point, we are transitioning into the mid game and I can start creating Roaches, I can start creating Hydralisk, I can start creating whatever I want. But at this point, I'm pretty much max saturation on 3 base and we are safely transitioned into the mid part of the game where everything becomes too game specific. But this is the build order that most professional gamers right now are using in Zerg vs Protoss. So yeah, that is pretty much it. Please keep in mind that especially in Zerg vs Protoss, the early part of the game, you will not really get harassed all that much, besides maybe an occasional Zealot Stalker Mothership Core pressure. So especially Zerg vs Protoss, it is really good to simply open up a custom game and practice this build like 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 times. Doesn't really matter until you don't have to think about it anymore. Zerg vs Protoss is really a matchup that you can practice without an actual opponent, especially the early part of the game. So I would definitely recommend you do this until you don't have to think about the build anymore, so you can actually start thinking about other things such as what could my opponent be possibly doing. I want to thank you guys all for watching. Have an amazing day. If you aren't subscribed already, please subscribe. As always, stay awesome and hopefully I will see you in the next episode. Bye! But Blizzard in Heart of the Swarm actually added this little thingy on top of the hatchery. It's like a number, the amount of harvests that's currently mining, and /24 if it's an 8.